Yes, I'm doing it. Yes, I am doing it. I'm taking on the brown mule from TYT, the Young Turks. I know, I'm gonna annihilate him with my full on 20 subscribers. My army will take him down. Okay, I'm done being a geek.
All right, so a lot of Donald Trump supporters love him because he tells it like it is, man. He's not a regular politician. You know what I'm saying? Ha ha ha!
Right off the bat, we get what is to be expected from Cenk from the Young Turks. When he's talking about the point of view from somebody else, he mocks them using his ha ha type of, voice, like, what a retard. Yeah, that type of thing. Now, I'm going to warn you, don't expect any intellectual substance from what he has to say. Although I agree with the narrative that he's trying to push, that it's a stupid reason to like Donald Trump, but it's Cenk from the Young Turks, and he self-destructs in his own video, of course, unless you're a TYT fanboy and you like taking up the butt from them. I'm using ad hominem already. Oh god, I need to quit.
I know. We interviewed a lot of them, and that's among the top things that they say about Donald Trump and why they like him. Okay, so let's find out if that's really true. So,
So, Cenk here is going to show you examples of Donald Trump backtracking and kind of going back on his own points, backpedaling a little bit, brings up something, says something, and then he takes it back like he doesn't actually mean it or like he doesn't know what he's talking about, or he corrects himself. Okay, here's the thing about why people like Donald Trump, though. Let me just lay down the argument out of the way, which I think is what Cenk misses. People don't, when they say they like Donald Trump because he says it like it is, they're not saying they like Donald Trump because he tells the truth all the time. Although there are people who say it like that, but what they're really trying to say is that they like Donald Trump because he doesn't talk like a regular politician. Politicians, example Hillary Clinton, especially when you watch all three debates, very calculated responses. People like Donald Trump. I like him, even though I freaking hate the dude. I don't want him to be president whatsoever. But I like him because he doesn't talk like a regular politician. Because the way he talks, he's not calculated. He says what's on his mind, and then yeah, he backpedals later like a regular politician does. But he has no filter. He doesn't have a filter. That's what people mean when they say Donald Trump tells it like it is. Like I said, don't expect anything intelligent coming from this video because he's not making this video to convince in the middle voters. He's doing this to stroke the egos of Hillary Clinton supporters.
earlier this week, there's this guy from Texas, the agriculture commissioner. His name is Sid Miller. Fascinating guy. Decided to call Hillary Clinton, well, I gotta say the word, cunt.
There must be something I'm missing because never has Cenk from the Young Turks had a problem with using profanity.
He tweets out about how Donald Trump is now leading in Pennsylvania. Says Trump 44, cunt 43. Okay, so pretty strong language. It's, of course, quite outrageous.
I don't think I need to point out the hypocrisy of Cenk.
Friday, Donald Trump thinks, I kind of like it. Out of nowhere, he brings up Sid Miller. I mean, who the fuck knows who the agriculture commissioner is in Texas, and why on God's green earth would a presidential candidate be talking about him? The only reason you'd be talking about him is because of what he called Hillary Clinton. And he says at the time on Friday, you have this wonderful guy, Mr. Miller, Sid Miller. And, okay, wow, geez, and Lord mercy, right?
This is almost borderline slander. Now, let me explain myself. Let me give Cenk the benefit of the doubt. So, recently, within the last week or so, Cenk is talking about a recent tweet by Sid supporting Trump, calling Hillary Clinton a cunt. And then Donald Trump says that he likes that guy, right? And then he steps back. And the only reason Trump would like that guy is because he called Hillary Clinton a cunt. That is essentially what Cenk from the Young Turds is trying to get across. Cenk, you're fucking fired. This is the point where I come to the conclusion that the Young Turks and Cenk himself have no business calling themselves a news channel or political commentators or news commentators or anything along the lines of that. Why? Because while simple research could have shown that Donald Trump didn't just randomly come out and say with no ties to Sid. Well, let me just show you what I'm trying to say. Sid Miller says he's joining Trump's agriculture team. Posted exactly 3 months ago on August 5th. Posted on the Texas Tribune. And yes, it's a real article. Look at that. Not just posting random shit. Cenk from the Young Turks, the channel that claims to be news, or at least political commentators, news commentators, current event commentators, whatever you want to label them as, couldn't even use Google to find out what connection Sid Miller had with Donald Trump. They had a connection 3 months ago, before this tweet came out. But Cenk from the Young Turds didn't tell you that, did he? No, he didn't. I hate defending Donald Trump so much because I do not like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not my candidate, but I'm forced. I feel like I have to defend him, even if my videos only get 3 views. I feel like I have to defend him against a media that lies. Because if I was an authoritarian, the last thing that I would want is for people to like Trump. So if I was an authoritarian, I would make people not like Trump. But I want people to dislike Trump for the right reasons, for the correct reasons. You can dislike Sid Miller for being a jackass, but to dislike Trump because of Sid Miller, that's ridiculous, and it's dishonest the way you're portraying the story like that. Sorry, I got triggered a little bit.
That's a hell of a thing to call a guy who just called your opponent the C word. And okay, now right now, all the Trump supporters are still like, yeah, that's right, man. I'll call her anything. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because he's a real guy who talks his mind. Well, that's interesting, because then on Saturday, all of a sudden he's disavowing Sid Miller, and usual Trump coward move, pretending he doesn't know who he is.
Leave it up to Cenk to not only mock Donald Trump supporters in a condescending manner, but to twist the events of what was actually said, to twist the narrative to fit his own perspective, to feed his liberal audience. You would think if Donald Trump actually backpedaled and said he doesn't know the person that he praised, you'd think it would be at least in some sort of liberal headline. But you type in the simple statement, Trump doesn't know Sid Miller, nothing pops up of him saying that he doesn't know Sid Miller. Oh, well, that's strange, because it's interesting, because, do you know where Cenk got that idea or do you know what quote Cenk took to spin the narrative that Donald Trump denied knowing Sid Miller? Well, let me show you. This is interesting.
And I say, that's bad news. Ben, I don't want to lose Texas. One little problem. We're killing them in Texas. A guy gets on 2 days ago, a man named Sid Miller, don't really know him, wearing a big, beautiful white cowboy hat. In fact, I want to find out where he got it. It's pretty nice. And he said, you folks are giving it all wrong. These lines are 4, 5, 6 blocks long. We've never had anything like this in Texas. And let me tell you, all those folks, they're all voting for Trump. They're not voting for anyone else.
Wow, look at that. Donald Trump disavowed Sid Miller. Oh, wait a second. That's interesting. Well, it really looks like Donald Trump didn't disavow Sid Miller. You can go back and watch that if you missed that, Cenk. But he took Donald Trump's quote talking about Sid Miller, saying he doesn't really know him, but the guy comes out a few days ago and says, no, you guys got it all wrong. It's funny. I don't see in there how Donald Trump says he disavows Sid Miller. But, Cenk, that can't be right. Cenk has it all right. Chances are when Cenk says that something just happened a couple days ago, a few weeks ago, or yesterday, it probably didn't happen. That's the closest quote I can find of Donald Trump saying he doesn't know Sid Miller. Just so we can keep that in perspective, no quote is locatable with Donald Trump saying he does not know Sid Miller.
You see, I think you do know him. And here's what I think happened. And again, Trump fans, you know what happened. His advisors pulled him aside and said, hey, dummy, don't call your presidential opponent the C word.
And as you can see, Cenk is going to roll the ball with this one and just keep using it to attack Trump over and over again. Watch. Just watch.
And he's like, oh, yeah, you're right. I guess that was too far. Okay. I mean, I call it like it is until my advice.
Well, once we get past the Cenk childish mock, he'll start talking about it. Just wait and see.
Just tell me not to. And then the next day I walk it back. What happened? I thought he was such a tough guy. I thought you guys respected him because he's just tells it like it is. Then on Saturday, why is he all of a sudden pretending he doesn't know who Sid Miller is? Why would you bring him up twice on 2 separate days back to back if you don't know who he is? Hey, have you guys ever brought up the Agriculture Commissioner of Nebraska? No, me neither, because I don't know who the fuck that guy is.
So just to talk about that, we already disproved talking about how Donald Trump actually knows who Sid Miller is because Sid Miller was part of Donald Trump's agriculture team for Texas. And then we also debunked what Cenk said about Donald Trump pretending not to know Sid Miller. Oh man, gosh, whew. Remember, this guy pretends to be a political commentator and swears up and down that he's giving you accurate news.
Do, okay? So you should never praise Sid Miller in the first place. That's outrageous, okay? But then, of course, the backpedal you guys don't see. Now,
I find it interesting how liberals like to talk about anybody that says anything mean about Hillary Clinton, but they never talk about this.
And chauvinists and sexists and misogynists 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 and chauvinists and sexists, misogynist, chauvinists and sexists and misogynist.
You're right. Maybe Cenk did attack his liberal supporters for, the same way he's attacking Donald Trump supporters for supporting Donald Trump, who called Hillary Clinton cunt. Maybe he talked about that when they were doing this with Sarah Palin, essentially. So we go ahead, we type in Sarah Palin, and oh no, nothing pops up. Nothing pops up at all. Huh, interesting. Let's try Sarah Palin hatred. Oh, no, nothing. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Let's try Sarah Palin is a cunt. Huh, nothing pops up. Interesting. Huh. Are you understanding the point I'm trying to bring up? Has anybody heard of selection bias? Selection bias is the selection of individuals, groups, or data for analysis in such a way that proper randomization is not achieved, thereby ensuring that the sample obtained is not representative of the population intended to be analyzed. It is sometimes referred to as the selection effect. Of course, there's many more things that fit the way Cenk tells his narrative. Confirmation bias, and we can't forget anecdotal evidence. Or a phrase I'm going to start using more often, a manipulative narrative is what Cenk tries to accomplish.
Covered them, okay? That everyone say, we're going to build a wall, and who's going to pay for it? Mexico, yeah, we hate the Mexicans! Yeah, go Donald, tell it like it is. He speaks his mind, man. He says his things that I'm thinking. I know he does. That's part of the problem.
If you thought you were going to watch an honest Donald Trump video from a liberal talk, not bringing up, the whole wall rhetoric and talking about how people that support the wall are racist. Yeah, you kind of expected it. You saw it coming. It didn't come out of outfield or, you knew it was there. You knew eventually Cenk was going to say something like that and was going to call Donald Trump supporters racist. You knew that was going to happen. Let me just explain something real quick for the fucktards that take Cenk's non-political commentary literally. Supporting strong borders is not racist. Yes, a racist might support strong borders, but just because A and B both equal C, it does not mean that A plus B is C. In other words, correlation does not mean causation. Let me also explain something else. Yes, like I said before, a racist might support a border to keep out dark people. Just like a Democrat might exploit minority votes to gain power, which is also racist. And how do you exploit minority votes? Yeah, we're for the immigrant. Vote for me. Yeah, that's called exploitation, which is racist. And let's not forget, however, that both Hillary and Bernie Sanders supported some of the fencing and border protection. They supported some of that. But, the media won't report on that.
Okay? So, but does he really mean it? You know what he did just a little while ago, a little over a week ago? He said, well, they're not really going to pay for it. Oh, are you kidding me? All of a sudden, Mexico's not going to pay for it? Well, he said, no, we're going to pay it out of our funds, and then they're going to reimburse us.
Remember how I said if Cenk goes, well, just last week, a couple days ago, this happened, they did that. Well, yeah, most likely when he says that, it's not true. The closest you can actually find that supports the narrative that Cenk is saying on Google, Bing, Yahoo, anytime you try to search it up or something like that, is from a Salon article. Donald Trump is backing off his signature Build the Wall campaign promise. It's October 24th, a couple weeks ago. What's absolutely hilarious, though, is when you look at that video or that article itself. That article says nowhere that Donald Trump said Mexico wasn't going to pay for it. And the way he explained it was that the United States was going to build the wall and then Mexico was going to reimburse us. That is still having Mexico pay for the wall. Yeah, the rhetoric changed, but if you say, oh, you're going to pay for college. Oh, no, you're not going to pay for college. The federal government will pay for college, but you have to pay them back. Guess what? You're still paying for college. You take out a student loan, you're still paying for that, which you paid for your college. So essentially, Mexico will pay for the wall. Now listen, let me just say I do not agree with the wall. I hate the wall. I think it's a stupid idea. And no, I do not think Mexico is going to pay for the wall at all. I think it's stupid. But this is just another example of how Cenk likes to operate, with his dishonesty. Surprise, surprise. Not really.
At him. He goes, oh, okay, man. Oh, that's true. That's true. How would we get them to pay for it? Oh, golly gee, I guess they wouldn't pay for it. So I guess we're going to have to pay it out of our own funds and then try to get it back, right? That's why I'll go out there and tell them that. Okay, you guys are right, man.
Now listen, he is right. Donald Trump did change his rhetoric. He did go from saying we're going to build a wall to Mexico's going to build the wall too. No, we're going to pay for it, but then Mexico's going to reimburse us. But that's still on the same lines as Mexico's going to pay for it. It's just through a different tactic. So yeah, I think the wall is a stupid idea. You can attack Donald Trump on that. Absolutely fair criticism. But did you see the way Cenk just did his classic condescending fucking attitude that he always does? Well, I did. That's classic Cenk for you. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching me reap Cenk from the Young Turks. Have a good one, guys. Oh yeah, and don't take anything that the Young Turk says literally. Take it with a grain of salt if you do listen to them. I know, there's people that are fans of him that have realized how much of a fucktard he is. I've always thought he was a fucktard, even when I was a self-prescribed progressive. I've always thought Cenk was a fucktard. Have a good one, guys.